we are at the Windy City Burlesque Festival, and I have the lovely Emily. Emily, what was your last name?
Esperanza.
Esperanza. Sorry, I don't have a hope to remember such a name.
Oh, it's fine.
And in chatting earlier, you are a filmmaker.
That's true.
How did you become a filmmaker?
It's something that I was lucky. I had a mother who's a professional photographer growing up, so I always kind of grew up in front of the lens, and it wasn't until later when I stepped behind it that I really fell in love with it. It made sense to me as if, you have like a third arm that you think you can move, and you can't really move it until you find your medium, and it just made sense as like a form of expression.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about your project. What's the name of your film?
The film I'm working on currently is called El Culto de la Muerte, or Cult of the Dead. It's a feature film. It's very interesting. It's half documentary and half narrative fiction, which normally are totally kept separate, right?
Right.
So in this case, they are intercut throughout the film to form a sort of collage. The film is also multi-format, meaning that it's shot on HDV, 35mm Super 8, VHS, iPhone footage, basically anything and everything that we can get our hands on. But it's all, we create, no stock footage or anything. It's all
Lego
things that we
camera?
find. What's that?
Lego camera?
I don't know what that is.
Never mind.
Is it like Lego made a camera?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, we'll have
you
to
can
get
make
one of those.
Lego movies. And
No, we do have a little fun, it's not a Bolex, but it's like a fake little plastic camera, but it's a crank camera. And it takes photo film and then turns it, like splits the frame, and gives you this really great kind of panoramic look. It's a certain type of developing, you just develop it like normal photo film, and then scan it in, and it's, strange, but it's fun. So, yeah.
Wow.
Tell you a little bit more about the film? Like,
Yes,
plot,
please.
Great. So,
first, where is it located?
so this film, El Culto, is shot half in Oaxaca, Mexico, and half in Chicago. Now, it's never stated in the film, where it's shot, but you could maybe figure it out if you got a brain, right?
I have no brain, too late.
Okay. Well, that's probably better then.
Zombies have already been here.
Good. Yeah, so the film focuses, the documentary portion focuses on Mexico's connection to death, the supernatural, some paranormal things or otherworldly things, spirituality, folklore, and tries to answer, a couple key questions that actually tie into the documentary portion, which is a bit of a road tale. It follows two girls who, again, don't have names either. Or maybe they do, they're just never stated in the film. And it follows them in a quest towards identity. They run into incarnations from Mexican folktales and folklore. It's a pretty epic movie.
And who would you find to star in such a film?
I tend to work with non-actors. I think that it's you find a really interesting quality in working with people, and I love working with actors as well. But I think there's a time and place for everything. There's a reason for using things. I just tend to be more gravitated towards working with non-actors. So one of the main actors, Errol, I actually met in a coffee shop, and she approached me and said, do you like literature? Do you like Mexican literature? And it was really strange because I was like working on this film, like on the script at the time, and I turned and I was like, yes. I ran into her the next day, and I was working on the teaser, the first teaser for the film, and I showed it to her, and she had this like gusto that I had written in for this character, and I didn't know where I could find someone like that. And then I turned to her and I was like, do you want to be in my movie? You're going to have to work on it for maybe 2 years, and you're going to have to come to Mexico with me. And she said, okay. So that's how I found her. The other one, it's myself. I'm playing the other lead. So.
Well, I don't know about the first, but you certainly have chosen a beautiful actress for the second part.
Oh, I thank you. I'm flattered.
Oh, you don't need to be. But you are beautiful.
Thank you.
So it's kind of a supernatural, paranormal type thing with Well, I don't want to ask too many questions about the plot, and but could you tell us a little bit more detail about the plot, if you could?
Sure. The narrative plot?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, again, the narrative plot follows two girls who, the one thing I do want to
It sounds
preface...
like they're on a quest.
They are. So the thing I want to preface about this film, without giving too much away, is that it's more of a... It's less of a... The world it exists in is not explainable, right? It's not explainable in our terms. This is just the world that exists. And at the same time, there are altered states of reality that they encounter throughout the film, yet the same rules that apply to our world don't necessarily apply to the world of the film. And so it follows these two girls, one of which, who are almost opposites, right? The film plays a lot with parallels. It's like half in Spanish, half in English, shot in the US, shot in Mexico, half documentary, half fiction, all these different formats, right? So there are all these parallels, and the two girls mirror that as well. The girl that I don't play, she is very loud and talkative and very full. She can fill a presence. And the other, I'm very kind of confident in a certain way, and the other girl is more quiet, reserved, almost like the person that you've met half a dozen times, but you can't remember their name. You know, almost like a shadow a little bit. Very familiar, but very vague girl. And they exist together as if they need each other to exist, right? Like a shadow and its creator. And it becomes clear at a certain point. It starts off in the film when they're still in Chicago, or in this space.
In the city.
In the city, in the urban landscape, right? That perhaps one of them is a little more fully formed than the others, that being the bright, charismatic, talkative, singing girl. And the other one is very much, and they start pulling apart from each other and getting removed. And there's this idea, they encounter three characters before their quest who kind of give them like a warning or a foretelling of what's to come, but only speaking to the girl who is vague, right? Who doesn't. So it's almost as if she interacts more with this world of like other supernaturally outrageous characters, but in the world of like normalness, she isn't even seen. And she's invited to her own funeral. It's maybe not her funeral, but she's invited to a funeral that seems to be her own funeral. And they literally have to like run to this funeral through the night. And then that sets them off on this big quest for knowing. It's about self-identity and discovery, and it's about a lot of things, but...
Just curious, the idea of the two characters almost being parts of one another remind me of the vague recollections I have of Jungian psychology.
There we go.
But was there any influence of that on?
No, not really, no. I studied some philosophy, and I don't know, I find that the movement towards like funding films, like the trend in funding films lately has been towards films that are very relevant politically, like, you know, that are tackling societal issues and difficulties, and I think that's, you know, that's really important, right? But you can see that films that get funded, the interest tends to shift back and forth in society between those types of films and films that are more revolve around issues of the spirit and the mind and the soul that are a little more inward versus external. And my philosophy on this is that, you know, as corny as it is, but change comes from within. And in order to see any sort of outward external change, we have to start like inside ourselves and work out. So that's why I think these kinds of films are important. Not many people are making them right now.
Well, it sounds very cool. Tell me, do you have an interesting anecdote, something weird and wonderful about yourself that you can share?
Sure. I was named after a cat.
What? Emily is a cat?
Emily is a cat.
Very cool.
My mom named me after her first cat.
Very cool. Well, Emily, do you have a website, Facebook fan page, anywhere that anyone could get a hold of you? And would you like to say a special message to those people who supported you on Kickstarter to get your movie kicked off?
Absolutely. We did have a Kickstarter. We've raised about $12,000 to get us to Mexico to finish rather film the documentary portion. Oh, I'm screwing this up. The narrative portion. It's been a long day of our film. And to that, thank you so much. You know from the updates, but we had a wild time and could not have done it without you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We will finish this movie ASAP, promise. Right now we're trying to get some more funding to finish the movie. We need about $2,500 just to finish production, which is not a lot, but on a super small budget, it's something. Right. What was the other thing?
Website.
Website.
Where can we find? You've got a teaser out there of the film.
I do.
Where can we see that?
I have a teaser trailer on Vimeo. Teaser trailer 2. You can find my website. That's your. This is such a. Are you going to edit this?
I can edit that out if you'd like.
You don't have to, but you could.
EmilyEsperanza.com,
I've been here for 11 hours. Yeah.
EMILY?
My website is EmilyEsperanza.com. That's EMILYESPERANZA.
.com.
.com. COM. I also have a YouTube channel, a Vimeo channel. I think that's about it. You can make a fan page for me if you want on Facebook. I don't have one, but you can do it. Be the first.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. And from the Windy City Burlesque Festival, this has been Emily Esperanza and the Weird Review.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks.